Hey guys, Eric here out at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, I'm going to show you one little wrist move with your trail wrist that could really transform your swing. This is a mantra that I used in a recent lesson that helped one of the players I was working with go from hitting his 7-irons with weak little push fades to the right, about 140 to 45 yards. Once we implemented these pieces for him, he was hitting it over 160 yards with some pretty high draws. So I want you to feel this little mantra here. I'm going to give it to you right away and then we'll explain it. So when we did the backswing with this player, the mantra with the right hand or the right palm, and I want you to sort of think of it like a sort of Spider-Man with your wrist of where your palm is pointing, okay? Where your palm is pointing. We had a mantra during the backswing and downswing where I said, hey, show me your palm and point that palm towards me on the way back. So the palm faces straight towards me. And I said, go ahead and show me that palm again when you start down. And then show your palm to the golf ball. Okay, so as we were hitting balls, after our sort of diagnosis phase, we said, during the backswing, you need to bend your right wrist back progressively the whole way. But not only do you want to bend it back, you also want to have a frame of reference of where it's pointing. Now, this golfer was coming through and hitting weak shots, poor contact that would miss sort of short right. And of course, we know that would happen because the club face was too open at impact. Now, when I pose the club face too open with the toe behind the heel, look at what my right wrist looks like. Is it bent back or is it straight? It's pretty straight. Now watch the same club face as I just bend my right wrist back. Now look at the club face. Toe is quite a bit in front of the heel. Okay, so when your right palm is flat, the face is open, poor contact, bad shots. When your right wrist is bent back and pointed away from you, that's going to close the club face, lower loft, better contact. So we started hitting some shots. We said, show me the palm, I was standing back there at the camera back there. Show me the palm, show it to me again, and then show the golf ball. And I want you to try this for yourself. Take your normal setup. We made one other little tweak at setup I'll show you in a minute. But take your normal setup and go point your palm away from you on the way back, point your palm away from you as you start down, and then point it down towards the golf ball. And you'll notice when I do that, that's always going to keep the toe in front of the heel, club face more square, better contact, less weak right. So show me, show the ball. And you should be able to hear that sound and how compressed that golf ball is. And we talked through that in our lesson a little bit. And hopefully you guys enjoy these lesson stories. I think they'll be helpful for a lot of you. What creates that compression is this shaft lean at impact. Now to get shaft lean at impact, what does my right wrist need to look like? Straight or bent? Bent, right? If I straighten my right wrist, I would look like this. No compression. So the right wrist being bent back creates the compression. So away from me, so show me, and then point it down towards the golf ball. If I had that Spider-Man thing out, it would point straight down towards the ball. Notice my wrist is still bent back the whole way. So we'd say, show me, show the ball. And I'm feeling like I'm doing that motion, and he felt like he was doing that motion progressively the whole way on the way back. So I have my wrist at setup, right? And he, like most people, had the trail hand grip too weak. Too weak means when you look down, the V between your thumb and index finger is like up towards your chin. I want that hand to be turned clockwise at setup, almost to the point where your palm feels like it's away from you at setup, and you bring your hand in a little bit. So I had him actually flatten his right wrist at setup. So at setup, his right wrist was almost bent. I don't want that. I want the wrist to be pretty flat at the setup position. So the wrist was flat. You could see some knuckles. The V's over towards the collarbone. And the reason you start flat is because if it's flat with the club face square, what's going to happen when I bend it back? It gives me more opportunity to close the face more when I bend it back. Why do I want to close the face more? So that when I'm working down in the impact, I can have shaft lean, great body motions, etc. Okay? So start with it flat at setup, bend it back progressively the whole way. Notice as I'm doing this, you could feel this. Imagine your palm with a little arrow and it would point straight towards the camera behind me or straight away from the target. As I go up to this top, it can be at the sky a little bit, but then as I come down, it points right back there away from the camera, points right back towards the ground. What this gentleman was doing is he would make a backswing and the palm would point this way, more towards my face, more towards me, more towards the target versus this way. And then when he would come down, and a lot of golfers I see do this, when he would come down, the palm would point towards him again, okay? And then when he would come down here, the palm points like this. The wrist is flat. Wrist is flat, palm towards me, bad. Wrist is bent, palm away, good. Now, if I put a club in with that, and I bend my wrist back, you notice that that's gonna square the club face, square the club face, square the club face. This is good. If I do it the bad way, flatten your left wrist and try it yourself. Notice the face is open at the top. Look at where the face is there, wide open. It's like a flop shot, wide open. I see a lot of golfers like this with a full swing. Now watch when I bend my wrist back. Square, okay? So you're bending your wrist back with a little bit of twisting it towards the camera. Twist towards the camera, twist towards the ball, or away from the target. When you're doing an iron, and I'm trying to compress the ball off the ground, okay, so again, wrist is pretty flat at setup, pretty flat. Okay, I want the right hand grip a little turn stronger, and then I'm creating that bend back to the top, in transition and at the golf ball. You should be able to hit really solid, high, compressed ball. You can hear the club, or the ball sort of popping off the club face. Imagine you came down and the wrist angle was real flat. If I came down and I had the wrist angle very flat here, flat here, flat here, no compression there. Club face too open, ball missing too much to the right. Now with an iron, we're hitting, and I say, hey, once you create this, palm away, palm down, just feel like you keep the right wrist bent essentially forever. It's gonna throw, it should throw kind of out in here, but because he was thrown too early, you just feel like it stays bent, you know, forever. Let it throw later. With the driver, I would throw probably a little bit earlier, but we did the same thing. You absolutely feel those same feels. Show me the palm, show me the palm, show the ball the palm. That's the idea. Show me, show the ball. And all of those are very compressed, high, solid, far shots. So if you struggle with compression, if you struggle with right shots, you know your club face is too open, we need to close it. What I did with my student, we do all the time online at CogornoGolf.com, I do it all the time in my lessons. Make your right hand grip stronger. Hold your thumb out towards 12 o'clock in front, turn it clockwise to like 2 o'clock. The wrist is flat and turned. That way it gives you the full opportunity to be able to close the face and swing. Feel like you do that the whole way down, hold that all the way through impact, compress the irons with the driver. You can let it throw a little bit sooner, especially if your speed is lower. I know some of the stuff can be more complicated. I want you to have a simple thought. Show me, show the ball. That's simple. The more complicated part is some of the details that's in there. If you guys have any questions on this, leave a comment down below. I appreciate you guys watching. As always, if you want to come see me for in-person lesson, I can show you these moves so you can really compress the ball. We'll put that down below. If you can't make it in person and or want to pay much less than that for a much lower price, we have CogornoGolf.com. You send us in your swing videos, we create you a specific plan. Hey, these are the 2 things we have to focus on. Here's the drills to do. This amount of reps. This is when we know we're moving on, and guide you through that process. The value there is unbelievable. Would love to see you at CogornoGolf.com. Again, any question on this stuff, leave a comment down below. Thank you guys for being here.